One of the key conditions to join the EU has always been fighting organised crime and corruption. Serbia, which has been battling both for decades, is still embroiled in a long-running case that many say is one factor that's stalling its bid to join the bloc. Back in 2019, an organic farm called Jovanjica was found to be illegally producing cannabis. An indictment followed and included alleged state security ties to the farm. But proceedings on the suspected links have yet to begin. At least 5 members of the Serbian police, military and security services are accused of supporting the illegal production. According to the indictment, they also provided fake documents and insider information to the owner of the farm. In July, 2 police officers who discovered the cannabis farm 4 years ago testified in the case, saying Serbia's current Interior Minister, Bratislav Gasic, who at that time was the head of the state security agency, knew what was happening in Jovanjica. But just last week, their lawyers announced that both officers have been removed from their positions. In 2021, a European Parliament report on Serbia mentioned the Jovanjica farm case and called on authorities to resolve the issue. Serbia's then defense minister released a statement saying he was ready to answer any questions regarding the case. Now, to get more on this, I'm joined from Tirana by Fatjona Mejdini. She is the director of the Southeastern Europe Observatory at Global Initiative Against Transnational Organised Crime. Thank you very much for joining us today. Right, so what do we know about the Jovanjica case so far? There's also an alleged state link. Is that true?
So what we are having right now in Serbia is the replacement of 2 police inspectors of the anti-drug unit in Belgrade, responsible for discovering the Jovanjica illegal cannabis production farm. And it's believed that besides revenge, this is an effort to obstruct the ongoing investigation of the Serbian prosecutor on the case. The replacement of these 2 police officers follows the Inspector Matic court testimony of their intention to arrest Bratislav Gasic, which is currently the Serbian interior minister and the former head of the Serbian secret agency. So they were telling to the court that they wanted to arrest Gasic because of his implication on Jovanjica case. It is worth mentioning, I believe, that Gasic is considered one of the most close associates of the president Aleksandar Vučić. What I can say right now for the 2 policemen, I know that one of them has been reassigned to another unit of the police in Serbia, which unofficially is seen as a place for disciplinary actions or to calm those who don't obey.
Right. As you said, the drug farm was discovered back in 2019. It's now been 4 years. There are allegations that the court panel has failed to hold a preliminary hearing for the past 2 years on the alleged state links. Is it true? And if it is, why, in your opinion?
Let me tell you some and give you some details about the case. So, as you already know, and you also presented, the Serbian company Jovanjica, initially known for growing and producing organic food, was discovered, in fact, to be operating a vast cannabis plantation, considered one of the largest seized in Europe so far. So, police, when they raided the facility, they found around 60,000 cannabis plants, which producing 1.6 ton of narcotics. And also what is important is they also found a green notebook containing records of cannabis production dating back to 2016 in this facility. As a result of this discovery, there are ongoing 2 indictments related to the farm. So so far we have the so-called Jovanjica 1 case, which deals illegal production of cannabis on the farm, and the owner of the facility, Predrag Kolovia. But also there is a Jovanjica case 2, which you are referring, that deals with the alleged state security links to the farm. And here we are speaking about engagement of police and secret service in this cultivation. It's true, as you mentioned as well, that in June this year, the hearing for this part of the case was cancelled for the 20th time. And no new date when this case is going to be carried on is scheduled or made public yet. So this is very indicating, and this is very telling about the pressures and the reluctance also of the judicial system in Serbia to carry on with this case.
Pressure and reluctance. And at the same time, Serbian police, military and security services are accused of providing fake documents to the owner of the farm. What do you make of that?
It is right now a public information that it is believed that the security sector representative in Serbia they had previous knowledge and even they protected the cannabis cultivation in Jovanjica, equipping the workers in this farm with the police badge and other facilities. It is believed that corrupt police, but also secret service agents have been known the secret for a very long time, and they didn't intervene because of the corruption. It is also worth noting that some high-level politicians in Serbia have used the farm and they have visited the farm as part of their media promotion. So they have presented it for a very long time as a successful Serbian enterprise. This also raised doubts about the involvement from higher-ups in this case.
Right. These two policemen, they also testified in July. They said current Interior Minister Bratislav Gasic, who at the time was head of the State Security Agency, was aware, as you just said, of what was going on, of the illegal drug production in Jovanjica. But what is your thought on this?
I mean, I can bring some examples from the work of the organization that I represent. So in 2021, we had our global index on criminality, and Serbia held the second highest position in terms of criminality in Europe, following Russia. So one of the main findings of this document says that in Serbia exists a strong connection between criminal actors and politicians, particularly when it comes to privatization and public procurement processes. Moreover, the country political systems and institutions, including judicial one, are dominated by the people of the ruling party and the pressure that they have on these institutions. And on the other hand, Serbia has a very weak opposition in this stage, and that is not efficient overseeing of all these institutions. On the other hand, state-embedded actors are also believed to be heavily involved in the white-collar organized crime and overall protection of criminal activities. So this kind of allegations, to go back to your questions, they don't come, in fact, unfortunately, as a surprise.
Right. In 2021, the European Parliament mentioned Jovanjica farm case and called on Serbia to resolve this issue. But 2 years later, the case, as we can see, is still ongoing. Are you optimistic that all this can be solved anytime soon, or not really?
This is a very good question. I think for a very long time, international organizations and major powers like the EU and the US, they frequently have voiced their concerns over the rule of law issues in Serbia. However, their actual influence remains limited, I would say. And this is also due to the unresolved situation in between Kosovo and Serbia. Western governments often has maintained the belief that President Aleksandar Vučić and Serbia, of course, hold a key position to resolve the Kosovo status. And as a result, it is believed that sometimes they turn a blind eye to corruption and organized crimes issues within Serbia.
Right, and last question then, before we run out of time. Organised crime and corruption are deep-rooted problems in this region. As you said, Serbia has the highest criminal activity in the region, following Russia. This case only seems to be the tip of the iceberg in a way. How can Serbia then meet the EU's criteria with these alleged links?
I mean, it's going to be a long road, as it seems, and I think that the West is pressuring. And one of the actions that we have seen recently is the designation of the head of Secret Service in Serbia, Alexander Vulin. So he's like, I mean, the first official from Serbia to be sanctioned while in power after Slobodan Milosevic in the 90s. And so there are efforts from the West, especially in this phase, to kind of like pressure Serbia, and especially when it comes also in its role in connection with Ukraine and sanctions, war in Ukraine and sanctions. So it's like, I mean, kind of like pressure that the West is doing for Serbia to take a stronger stance on Russia. But it seems that so far this kind of like actions and pressure, I would say, haven't been successful. What we are seeing right now, for example, we are seeing that Vulin is still in office, although the opposition in Serbia has asked his dismissal from office. So what we can say in this moment, that is going to be a long road, and then probably more pressure and more actions are needed.
Tatiana Maydini, unfortunately, we're running out of time, but thank you very much for your interesting analysis. And that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and we leave you with pictures from the celebrations of Turkey's historic win in the Women's European Volleyball Championship after beating Serbia in the final. See you next time.
Service coming in, second championship point for Turkey. Vargas! Of course, it's Melissa Vargas! And Turkey have won their first ever European Championship.
Beautiful feeling and emotion. I'm really so proud of this team. Today we play for, not only for us, today we play for this amazing fun for Turkish people.